Oh, greetings. It's me again, Grandmaster Amin Ra, coming to you from Mombasa. And today I want to discuss about what the African Free Trade Area Agreement means for us in America. Black people in America, we have this idea of Africa is poor and, they're struggling. All the different African nations are fighting each other, and this is a misnomer, and I wanted to work into that. Now, it's very true. This will be a short video. It's very true that Africa is poor. That's it. It's more poor as far as development is concerned than it is rich in development. But this is all changing slowly, and one of the reasons why Africa as a continent is poor is because the Europeans came together in the Berlin Conference and they decided to separate all Africa up, get that African cake. So Belgium took a section of the Congo. Britain took a lot of the East African and the West African sides. France took a lot of the Northern African countries. Even Germany was taking parts of Mozambique and Tanzania, but they lost it. They had to give it up when they lost the World War II. But the European countries had separated all these areas, Africa into all these small areas, and these boundaries that they created are still there today. I mean, Kenya is the shape of Kenya because that is the way the Europeans cut it. Ghana is the shape of Ghana, and Nigeria is the shape of Nigeria because this is borders that were drawn by the Europeans. And so when it comes to doing business, there became this thing where if you wanted to do business with me and I'm in another area or another country or another territory that belongs to another European country, then that's not, we have to bargain. There has to be taxes put on goods. We have to trade back and forth. And these type of things continued even after Africa got its independence. So this African free trade area is historical. It's historical for two main reasons. One, because it was done so quickly, so fast that all the African countries pretty much agreed that, yeah, this has to be done. The borders and the tariffs and the things that we have between our nations have to be dropped. There should be free movement between these African borders, which the Africans know that the Europeans drew up. So I want to give it a case because not because I'm downing Ghana, but because it's a classic example. Ghana is surrounded by Franco countries, and these Franco countries do not do any serious business with Ghana. Togo on the one side, Cote d'Ivoire, I think on the other side, is surrounded completely. So if I wanted to travel from Ghana to Nigeria, I would have to go through Togo, where there's going to be a checkpoint where they're going to start telling me I need to check your goods. You have to pay taxes on these goods just to cross through. Not that you're going to be in Togo, but you're going to cross through to go there. And this really hampered the trade between different countries. So I'm happy to say that Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana, they're part of this free trade area where they're going to drop this border. They're going to stop those criminals that make up these fake borders, fake checkpoints, and let the goods go through. This is all part of what the heads of states agreed to. It needed 22 heads of state 22 African countries to ratify the agreement. Up to 49 countries signed it, and so it's going to be implemented starting on May 30th of this month. I'm doing all this research for you, and I just want to remind you really quick that we don't have Super Chat in Africa. And I'm here in Africa. I'm a Black American. I've been here 22 years. I'm seeing these things happen on the ground. And just like on YouTube, you don't get many people like me because there's no way they can be funded. You see, money of our shows today, whether you know it or not, are funded because of super chat. People send in money, and that really inspires them to continue. People, some even YouTubers even make their living off of this, off of the super chat and Patreon. But in Africa, when I click the button, it says it's not available in your area. So you see, I couldn't. It really hampers people like me to come out to you and say, let's start dialoguing. So with this one, www.wave.com, you can support me with $1, $2. You just go to www.wave, you register, put in my phone number here, the contact name of my wife here. I keep saying I'm gonna put her on the show. I'm going to do that. And then if you put that app on your phone, it only takes you a few seconds to be able to send $1 over, or $2 or $5 if you really appreciate, the what we're saying here. Okay, so to get back on the point, the African Free Trade Area was ratified by the majority of African countries. Why? Because they all realize, there's no disputing the fact that part of the reason why Africa's growth is not as fast as it could be is because of these barriers between countries. Now, you can take a tribe of people, let's say the Aruba tribe, I don't know, I'm just making up a name, Aruba tribe, and they're partly in Nigeria, and then there are many of them in Togo. Well, the ones in Togo can't really interact with the ones in Nigeria, even though they're the same family and the same tribe, because of the border. You understand what I'm saying? If you got a tribe, a Bantu tribe in Uganda, and it extends over to Kenya, these guys had to jump through hoops in order to bring goods back and forth between their two family members. So I was told that there have been attempts to have these different trade barriers put in there. There's this ECOWAS, I know that one. But you see, ECOWAS is still not stopping the people in Togo from putting up checkpoints so that the movements of goods between Ghana and any other country on that side of Togo, on the other side of Togo, which is a small country, had to pass through freely. So, of course, Ghana was one of in the forefront of saying, yeah, let's do this because we need to start trading. And one of the officials in that were part of this from Ghana was talking about a story where he said there was a football match between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, and they started, the Cote d'Ivoire people started, talking, yelling at the game, and the Ghanaians were saying they're talking a funny language, and the language was French. You see, so this is how separated these borders have really gotten us. And when they drop, then Africans now can see that they have more in common than they have less in common. So we do this. We're doing this to make sure that Black Americans understand what's really happening now on the ground, so they don't be the last one to know, because this kind of information is not going to be put out in the media. Of course, the Western media is going to ignore it or try to not see what's going on. But at the end of the day, we have to have someone like myself to come and explain to you what's going on here. So when we're deciding to make a plan to move to Africa, that we can add this to the reasons on why it's a good idea to come. Now, the business side of it is tremendous. This free trade area is not anything that's just a small thing. It'll make it the largest trading area in the world. Right now, Africa does 18% of intra-trade between the different countries. Europe does 59%, and in Asia they do 69%. So we were talking about a 3-point rise in trade would really boom us. Now, of course, in the United States, you can travel through. You can go through one state to the next. You may not even know that you went through another state. You can't even tell. And we've always been talking about, even up to in Garvey's time when they were saying that we wanted a United States of Africa, this is what they're talking about. But once these trade barriers are removed in 2 weeks, and we start to see the flow of goods and the flow of businesses start to go through the expand to different countries, it's going to be a game changer. And this is what when you Google African free trade area, you're going to see that the people are very excited about it. The governments are serious. This is going to lead to a common currency that's been many times been trying to be made, but I believe that the CIA and other European underground groups have been hampering this process. Even here in East Africa, we wanted to have a common currency. They keep making dates and then they keep changing it. But definitely, if the free trade area is an expansion of that, and the way I see the Africans talking about it, it's definitely something that's not going to go away. It's not going to be something that they're going to take lightly. It's talking about money and doing big business. These people, heads of state, met in the African Union, and they all looked at each other and said, "Okay, let's do this." You know, the trade between our people is more important than me having a particular power. And let me see. Hey, Jim. How are you guys? I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the chat. France and Europeans in general have been parasites. Yes, of course, they've been parasites to the continent, and they still are today in a lot of ways. But that's what I'm trying to explain to the Black Americans here. These things are changing, and they're changing for the better. And it's never been a better time to come and take advantage of this growth. Ride that wave, ride that wave. And I'm going to give you my personal experience. Now, I have a martial art business, and my martial art business in Kenya, when I was the chairman of it, I was chairman of the Kenya Kempo Federation for 10 years. And we tried to expand through all Kenya, and I tried to expand it out even to different areas in the country. Some areas is good, some areas are not good. So good for business. Now, of course, the best business was done in the major cities. And at that time when I started, there was really only one. It was really Nairobi, a little bit of Mombasa. But since that time, we've been really expanding, and it's got now like 6, 7, 8 cities in major cities in Kenya now. And this growth is just continuing. And this is the same in Tanzania. It's even more. And in Ethiopia, it's off the hook. It's just growing. Ethiopia was the fastest growing economy a couple of years ago. If people don't know that, so I wanted to grow my martial art business, but into Uganda, into Tanzania, and and beyond. But that was pretty easy to do. But now go beyond Uganda into Congo, into central Congo, it was very difficult. There was a lot of fighting going on, and of course, it's part of the time in Congo. But beyond that, there was nobody really had a straight trade route to go through from Kenya into Congo, because there was not that much trade between the countries. But now there's going to be, they built the major highway that goes from East Africa to West Africa, and they're going to, this trade is going to expand and make more, make more vehicles and transporting goods going back through Uganda without being stopped on into Congo. And wow, I mean, for me to expand my martial art business now, I can just go to Congo. I can do some demonstrations there. People can be interested in the martial art. Then they want to join. Then we start opening up a chapter there. And wow, we go very far from that. So I want you guys, my neighbors here, at the same time as me, listen to them and think about doing it as support. Now, Brazzaville and Kinshasa are in Congo. They just recently had a major election. new presidential election. Kabila stepped down peacefully, and the country is booming. China has just agreed to give them, to restructure the Congo's loan to give them ability to expand and grow. Kinshasa and Brazzaville are just across the river from each other. That's like New York and Manhattan. You know, I mean, not Manhattan, but two New Yorks. They're really big, but you see, they didn't have a lot of wealth, because of the recent problems in the past. A lot of it was the United States was going in, and European countries going in, taking all the minerals, giving money to some chief somewhere, and then pulling the minerals out of the country. But now the country has a stable government, they're putting these things under control, and they're saying no more of that. And Kabila was the one that really put these people in their place. And then the West started hating him, and they really campaigned to get him out. But what the people put in somebody else just like him, and you're going to see these countries are going to start expanding. Now, the days of this rogue leader, president, in an African country are over. The AU, African Union, is not tolerating anything like that. And to make sure that they do free and fair elections, the AU is monitoring all these elections that African countries have. So I wanted to come on today and talk to you about that. It's a great opportunity for African Americans when they come here to think about now, if you come to a country like, let's say, Kenya, you don't have to be stagnated here. You can start a business, and you can be sure that business can now expand beyond the borders of Kenya, beyond the borders of whichever country you have. This means a great thing for Ghana, because they're surrounded by Franco countries, French countries, but you see, the French can't have nothing to say about that. The African countries are the ones who signed this thing and ratified this deal. So French may not be happy about it, but the Africans are seriously excited about this thing taking place. You mean I can take my goods and cross over into another country with my goods, and no one's going to ask me for a bribe, no one's going to stop me and they tell me I have to pay taxes on my goods? Yes, that's what's going to happen. And this is going to happen all through Africa. Like I said, the far majority of the countries have put in this thing, put in and agreed on this, and it's a no-brainer. And for those people that say, what about Nigeria? Why Nigeria said no? Nigeria was the one who started this thing. Okay, it was Nigeria that one who started this whole idea about the African free trade area. It's just that now they ran into some problems, but they have to come on board. It's a no-brainer. You see, it's just right now during the presidential election coming up, they're just kind of holding off, but it's a big country. And some people thought that would be a dumping ground for some sort of products, but this is not the case. And everybody knows that. So nobody's really worried. Nigeria will come on board. They have to. And it's just, a no-brainer. You understand what I'm saying? And it'll be the largest trading area. I mean, I can trade from Kenya. I can trade with Nigeria. I can go to Ghana. I can trade to a Franco country. It doesn't matter. You see, this is a really plus for if they have African Americans who have the entrepreneurial spirit. You can be starting up a business in one country. You can franchise it to another country, and you can travel back and forth without having to pay tariffs or anything like that. So this is the future. This is what the Africans are all about. This is what they're doing. We need to keep up with the show. You won't find this information in the Western media, and I'm bringing it to you. Some of you are just hearing this for the first time. The African Free Trade Area. Look it up. You'll be surprised, and it's not. You shouldn't be surprised, because Western mass media propaganda, news, and entertainment is the black man's greatest enemy. And it's not just what propaganda they give you, it's what they decide not to tell you. Like what's going on in Venezuela, what's going on with Iran right now. A lot of us are not being able to get a chance to see this information. And because you don't have somebody on the ground like me. I'm here in Africa, so I'm seeing it and feeling it. I'm from Los Angeles. I've been living in Kenya for 22 years. I was doing entrepreneur work. I've been doing business here. Yes, I've rised, I've fallen, I've rose, I've fallen, but who hasn't? You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying, so whatever has happened here to me in Africa, which is not much. I mean, it's very simple. It's like boring. you don't really fall to the ground because too many people. People don't let people do that. We don't let people sit in tents. You go put a tent out on the main highway and start living in it. People gonna stop you. They're gonna say, "You come home with me, my brother." You see, that's the way the African is. That is the way the African is. But in America, no, capitalistic system demands that they don't give you affordable housing based on your population. So they're saying either you pay for $700 a month, or $800 or $1,000 a month for rent, or you on the street. There's no $200 room you can, area where you can put $200 rooms and we can put all the people, because that would lead to socialism, and America is not going to go for that. They don't care about it, and they don't care about blacks. Obviously, when you make up the new iPhone going to cost $1,000, that's out of the reach of most black people. But do they care? Do they say, okay, we're the number one phone company. We know blacks are there. We know there are poor people out there. Or let's make a model that's going to be affordable for them. No, they're saying to hell with the people. If you can't afford it, that's tough. You see what I'm saying? And now in a country where this is the case, it shouldn't be the case. And so that's why I'm saying that we need to get up together and make a plan that we have an option that Africa be part of that plan. Because I think, and I believe I truly believe that if you start making a plan to come to Africa, looking into Africa, choose an African country and adopt an African country. You can always change later. And then look into that country and look at the business ideas, look at go on Facebook, make friends with people from that country, start talking to them, you just got to network a little bit. And then once you get two friends, I only had one friend that was from Kenya. When I met that guy and they told me he was from Kenya, I grabbed him and I became his friend. I would go to his house. I would make an effort to get to know him so much better. And then from him, he introduced me to so many other Kenyans. So when I came to move to Kenya 10 years later, it was easy. You see what I'm saying? I knew the people, I understood them. So I knew I knew what to basically expect. And that's how I did it. Now, some other people may do it differently, but I'm telling you, you'll feel so much better in this crazy time in America where the prison population is growing at 5% a year. And we all know how many of that 5% is black people. I recently saw a video on YouTube where the police came and just picked the brother by the arm and started taking him to the police car. And he said, "You're under arrest. You have warrants." He said, "Hi, you didn't even ask me my name." The police didn't even ask him the name. So the guy resisted. And then finally the police said Wilkins or something. And the guy said, "That's not my name." You see? And they were just going to pick him up and take him. And, from there, anything can happen. Yeah, the guy was completely innocent, wasn't even the one, but the police are just driving down the street, seeing a black guy with dreadlocks, grabbing him and say, "Let's go get in the police car." How many brothers are not that brave not to resist, and then next thing you know, they're in prison? Now, next thing you know, they've been told that you go to prison or you just do 3 months probation. And then from probation, you can't go nowhere, you can't do nothing, and lo and behold, this thing is on your record. And then there go your chances to be prosperous in a good job. You see? And this is what's happening to us in Black America. This is why our Black communities are gone. And I know a lot of us are out there frustrated, but you just want to, I'm proud too. Things happen to me and it's like I've been raped. The racism is so bad. I couldn't even talk about it. And I probably never will talk about it on this show. But I'm telling you, the way I feel, I know at least there's somebody else out there that's like me, because I've seen brothers that disappear. What happened to so-and-so? He's gone. I haven't seen him in months, you see? Where is he? In a prison somewhere with his pride, don't want to let anybody know what has happened to him. If not you, if you have children, your children is going to face the same thing. And it's going to be worse because we're reducing in numbers as Black people. Now, if you like this information I'm giving you, please do the necessary. Now, I know it's hard because some people are telling me that they got to ask for a photocopy of your ID now. I don't know. This thing just happened with Wave. They weren't doing that before, but now they're saying you need a photocopy of your ID. I know it might be a little difficult to register, but you really be helping me and other people that's here in the chat out if you can do this, because we don't have super chat in Africa. There's no way you can really send money. Now, if someone was to send, someone already had the app and the number, they should be able to send money. And my phone is right here. It should ring, and then I'm looking. I'll be able to say so send this amount of money. So if you don't get a chance to do it at this junction, at this show, just think about it, getting prepared for when we come up the next time. Let me see what's in the chat a bit here. Greetings, brother. Hello, Gregory Wyatt. How are you, man? Yes, thank you for visiting with me. And we're gonna do keep on putting these shows out until they stop me, because I said that America's greatest fear is Black people leaving the country en masse. Now that may not never happen, but then if you can just have an exit plan ready, because where I'm in Kenya, everybody speaks English. Where I'm in Kenya, they know all about us Black Americans. Where I'm here in Kenya, there's so many opportunities. You can get a room to rent for $30 a month. So put that into your plan. That if something happens, you get $3,000 or you get $300. You got 10 months of where you can stay. You see. If you have somebody send you $100 a month, I'll show you how you can live off that and be well off. Yeah? Don't come here talking about staying in the best hotels. We ain't like that. We poor. We in bad shape, and we need to start talking about that. We need to be, start trying to have this pride. I've seen brothers come here to Africa looking at me, and they got all this big money, and then the money runs out. They start chasing women in Kenya. They start doing the bars, dancing clubs, and stuff like that. But they don't think about going to talk to the business people. They don't even know the business people who to talk to. I sit around and I go with them. I walk them around with them. They want to go drink. I'm gonna come to the bar. Okay, fine, man. What's up? Okay, Kenya's good. Yeah, Kenya's good. But they never think about, take me to the chief. Take me to a businessman. Where is the biggest business in Mombasa? They'll never ask me that. So you see, it's until the money starts to run out, then they start like, what can I do? How can I stay? They always want to extend their stay. But then they never think about the fact that nowhere in the planet can you live without money. You understand what I'm saying to you? And this is another problem that we have that's indigenous to us in America. Like the Boyce Watkins is talking about. We're really ignorant when it comes to dealing with money. So you come into Africa, you want to start all over again, and you don't realize that some areas where you talk about go work for somebody in Africa, it's not going to happen. Number one, they're not going to even look at you as a Black American. They're going to think you're crazy. How can you come from America and come here and talk about working in a Kenyan job? It's just a concept that doesn't make sense. So what we need is have entrepreneur brothers that come here, work hard like I did, start a business, and then you start employing people. See, I employ people now, and I probably will employ more people, you see, in the future. I've given people jobs, created jobs for people. So this is the type of thing that I was easily able to do in a country that is growing, where the population has doubled in the last 25 years. Since I've been in Kenya, the population has basically doubled. Can you imagine? So it's all Black. So you see, wherever it expands, it's just more Black. Because you can imagine, like, let's say it was Harlem, and Harlem expanded double population of Blacks every 20 years or 25 years. Can you imagine what Harlem would look like today? And it'd just be black everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? But let's look at Harlem today. Blacks are basically a minority in Harlem today. The Black-owned businesses, the shops that are all down in 123rd Street, 103rd Street, and all those shops that used to be all Black-owned, Blacks are now outside with tents and stands on the sidewalk. Come December, January, they're sitting out there with gloves on, head of and then they're selling their little goods there, because we're dying economically. The white man has played who's got the money with us. That's a game. The game is called Who Got the Money. And who got the money? The white man. And when he said he's going to keep it, he means he's going to keep it from us. And he's been doing a damn good job. Dr. Boyce, Dr. Boyce, but Dr. Claude Anderson always talks about how we only own less than 0.1% of the wealth of America. blacks only own 0.1% of the wealth. Do you know what that means? Have you thought about that? You know, you might hear statistics, but you know, I think if we only own 0.5% of the wealth, can you understand what that means? We own nothing in America. And this means a lot because you don't have a rich uncle or that rich cousin that you can go to when times of emergency. It's just everybody's like doggy dog out for themselves. You know, you can't even come walk around with your friends because everybody's broke and looking for money. This is what's happening, and I know it's happening because if it wasn't happening, we'd have black communities that are prospering. You know, they wouldn't be shootings and killings in Chicago the way they are. You know, people wouldn't leave Los Angeles and move to the South because of to get cheaper rents and housing. And now even that's not working out because rents are too high, prices too high in California. You move to Atlanta, you go there, you buy a house, and the house don't increase in value. You know, so what's that? You invested in a house, but it doesn't increase in value, so you're just sitting there. You understand what I'm saying to you? Every which way we try to go, because America is slowly losing its number one power status, it's going to be rougher on the black American than it is on any other people, because we're at the bottom of the ladder when it comes to business in the United States. So please get together, make your plan to go to Africa. But in order to do that, you're going to need some inside information. And I can continue to bring this to you when you guys help me out. Now, you might be listening to this at another time and say, okay, I didn't get the live show. You're just watching this now. Do it now. Do it now, but even have it offline so that I can see that people care about this information. I've been on several different shows, and I've been listening to a lot of these brothers. They're getting 50,000 views, 60,000 views. And then they're talking about what? We blacks got to come together. We got to start making our own businesses. It ain't going to be no, how can you have a business and there ain't no black community? Can we think about that for a minute? If it ain't a black community and you open up a black-owned business, is the Mexican going to really come and patronize you? Is the Chinese? Is the white man going to walk into your store? Talk about, let me see what you got, I want to buy? No. You know they won't. So your business is doomed to fail, and it's going to continue. Continue when you maybe you might be happy you got a job and you're secure, but what about your children? Statistics say that the next generation will be poorer than the next generation. That's your children. That's the ones we're taking up to this. We're taking them to preschool and paying more for preschool than we pay for rent. In many cases, they got us coming and going. So in Africa, you don't have that problem. You know, there's nothing like extreme prices for preschool. It's very cheap and very inexpensive. I will tell you how in another video. So the next video I want to do is on your children coming to educating your children in the modern African country. And this is for those guys that parents. You know, we have children out there. They're in these messed up public schools, getting nonsense information. They're not being really taught well. You know, I can really tell you a story that I grew up. I was in private school, St. Cecilia, Holy Cross Middle School, and then I had enough. And I was 16. I told my mom I refused to go back to these private schools. I want to go to public school with my friends. And my public school in my area is manual arts. And so she said, look, you can go to the summer school with your friends, but you can't go to the manual arts in the regular season. So I said, okay, fine. So I got a chance to go with my friends. So I was so happy. My best friend and I were in the same class. So we went on the first day. Now I was raised in Catholic school. So I'm sitting there, head up straight, books proper, everything. And he walks in, slaps the books on the floor. The teacher starts teaching. I take out my pen, start taking notes, and he walks out the classroom. And I'm like, man, where you going, Greg? He just walked out. And I'm like, oh, you're going to get in trouble. But no trouble happened to him. He stayed out to the very last day. On the last day of the summer school, he comes back to class. And the guy gives out and writes out the report cards and gives them to us. So he grabs his and runs out. And I chase him because I know he got to fail on that report card because I got a C. And I was there every day. So I caught him on the staircase and I snatched his report card and I'm laughing at him. I looked at it and he had a D. Passed, and he came into first class and the last class get a D. They passed him through like that. The boy didn't know how to read. You know, we're 12, 13, 14 years old, and I'm not realizing that he's not getting the proper education. Now look at me today. My God, my mother was, I bless her now because goddamn, I was really putting the effort to try to make her let me go to school with my friends at a public school. And this was in the 60s. You understand what I'm saying? 1960s. So I can imagine what it looks like today. So please, in Africa, we don't have that problem. The education is strong. I'm talking to you now from a school in Kenya. So I know firsthand. I deal with children here every day in the school system. So I'm dealing in a program, digital revision program called ccgate.com, and I know the curriculum very well. And I see the teachers in action. They don't joke. I'm telling you, it ain't no joking when it comes to education in Africa. Parents today, they believe in it and they're serious. And you can bring your child here and they can be assured of an education that is well-rounded, no gangs, no guns, no shooting up your school, no drugs, all these things are eliminated. And when you get into high school, they separate the boys from the girls and put them in boarding schools. And this is one of the greatest things that could ever happen. It's like a military school. Your child can come out well-rounded. Your daughter will not be, you don't have to be concerned about your daughter getting pregnant. So it's just that we don't have the information. And I'm here to give it to you firsthand. Let me get in the chat, then I'm gonna sign off. Greetings, Brother Brian. Where in Mombasa do you live, Rock? Okay, are you coming to get me? Because you want to shoot me? I'm in Mombasa. You got to find out there exactly where I am. You can go to my Facebook page. I'm in K.Ra. I'm in K.Ra. And you can get all the information about me, where I'm from in Mombasa. I'm in Kusioni section of Mombasa if you're a brother from the area. And I've been living in Mombasa now for 15 years, I think, around 15 years. And I was in Nairobi before that. I was in Nairobi for 6 years. And when I came to Mombasa, it's like Palm Springs, it's like on the beach, So it was like tropical life, and I love it. I'm from California. I'm from Los Angeles, so I love being near the beach. And right here, I can basically walk to the beach. Okay, it'd be a long walk, but like 20 minutes. But I can really do it. But it's not far. And I take my kids out to the beach sometimes in the morning, and they let them play in the sand, and it's wonderful life. I just sit back and I'd be like, God, if I could have did this 10 years earlier, if I could have moved in Kenya 10 minutes earlier, it would be really great for me. But I'm here now, and I have a wonderful family. Finally got a good woman on my side. Had a couple of problems with women, relationships before. And then finally got a good one. We've been together for about 10 years now, and we got wonderful children. And life is good. And I want to be able to say, look, there's a lot of brothers that I know that are in the United States now. Okay, now it's summertime, good. But come November, December, you'll be in that freezing cold weather. Everything shuts down, and there's no reason for that because weather can be wonderful all year round. And that's what you get when you move to modern Africa. Food can be fresh. I've been thinking about buying land there. Okay, now talking about buying land. Oh, that's a whole nother show. We come and buy land. Remember, land has no value if you don't have people to tilt the land. Okay, so if you say I'm gonna buy land, that's nothing. I mean, there's so much land here laying around. People don't cultivate the land, but now you're gonna put a house on the land. So remember, and this is business sense. When you first move here, you need to establish yourself. A house is a liability. It is not an asset. Oh, my house is going to go up in value. I mean, that's ridiculous. I've always been told you get a house, you're going to have value. Go talk to the people in Atlanta. Go out, households in Atlanta, in Georgia, and Mississippi. The houses don't go up in value there. Now you're going to come here in Africa and build a house. Okay, now you're 30 or 20, 30. And then 10 years from now, you'll be 40. Then you come here, you move in Africa, and you go in this, and you want to settle down. Okay, fine, that's great. It'd be cheap. You'll be loving it. I can guarantee you. But if you like me, I'm talking about business. So in that case, I would buy rental property. If I buy the land, I'm gonna put rental property there so they can make me an income. Because my days are almost over. I'm 60. I got like 10 years left of. So they say. I feel good. I might last to be 80 and still be active. But right now I'm looking at, okay, how can I satisfy myself so that I have an income for me and my children? They can just make my money make me money. You understand what I'm saying to you? So tying up your money in equity in a house, it pulls that money away from putting it into a business and then growing that business. Now you might not see that concept from the United States standpoint because the black population is decreasing so rapidly that you can even imagine. You drive down the street and see these boarded up buildings and you're like, man, no, I don't never do that. But when you come here, you're gonna see the population is young and vibrant and they're gonna keep on rising. So once again, I put all these videos out to talk about letting you think about making an African plan, a plan where if things get so bad in the United States that I can move to Africa. As Africa grows, you're going to find that this is going to be much more enticing as far as goes. If you start to plan, then when somebody talks about Africa, you'll pay more attention, and then that way you'll start the ball rolling. See, like many people didn't know about the African free trade area until I'm started talking about it. You understand what I'm saying to you? And I wanted the people on my channel. I'm not interested in 50 million views. I'm only interested in a few people that say I'm thinking about making that trip. Some brothers have made the trip. They love it. I'll try to interview them, but they're shy. Some of them, I don't know why they're shy. But I keep saying I'm gonna go to do the interview with a friend of mine, and she's there. But I go to her house. We start laughing and cracking jokes, and then when I'm leaving, I'm like, oh, I was supposed to take a video, and then that's what happened. But sure enough, it's gonna happen. Yeah, Kisioni. That's the Kisioni. Kisioni. Yeah, that's where I'm from. There, Topanga. If you know where that place is at, okay. Bamburi, this area, that's where you'll find me. Yeah, those people that have been thinking about it, yeah, definitely you should make that trip when you get a chance. Okay. Don't come here talking about I'm going to come on vacation to Kenya. So many people do that. Then you end up in the hotels. Then you end up in the Uber with the taxi driver, and then you never really know the country because the taxi driver is going to take you to the places that they know they can make money off foreigners, but bringing foreigners there. So they'll take you to the restaurants that's for foreigners. They're going to take you to the places for foreigners, beach areas for foreigners, but you won't know the people, the actual real people that work every day like us. The doctors, the lawyers, the nurses, the business owners, the guy that sells fruit on the sidewalk. These are people that you want to kind of integrate, touch and just talk to for a minute, and then see where you're, the real Africa. Now, a lot of the Africans believe America. They still have that concept that America is a great place, and we got lots of money, but we know that's not true. And the majority of them actually know that we don't have money, Black Americans. So, they look at us as our brothers. And this idea, this concept of the Black Americans, our brothers, they should come home, is now more in the news than ever. So, Kenyans are forming their opinions, and 99% of them are like, the brothers should come home, welcome home. I get that today. I've been here 22 years. I go somewhere and they're like, our brother, oh, you're a Black American. Yes. Oh, bro, welcome home, brother. They don't realize I've been here 22 years. You know what I'm saying? Till now I start talking to them in Swahili. Then they go, oh, okay, yeah, you're one of us. Then You should not believe all the propaganda that they tell you. Okay, so yeah, my next show is going to be on educating your children in modern Africa. Help me out. I know it's going to be rough when you first start out to sign up and register. I've been told. I hope they're not blocking us now. If they are, then let me know, because that would be a shame. A couple of people told me they had a few problems with it, but others have been able to send money, and I appreciate that. But we're really not getting a response that we want. I think we have 3 people send money, and that was nice. You know, they sent like $3, $10. One got, and that was nice. But I really need to know that this is working consistently, and because they've been trying to block me, I can feel it. You know what I'm saying? And if this really works, then you'll find more people that can give you information. It may take time. I might be the only one for the next 6 months, 20, but if this really works out, I think you'll get more people. And then if I can get some good support, then we can be outside of this room and we can be outside and interviewing. I want to do a show on, I talked in another show about small businesses that I want to go out and interview the people that are in those small business ideas. But I need support because nobody's going to work for free. And the people in these shows from Tommy Meyer all the way down to the rest of them, they're not doing that for free. They wouldn't even be there if there was no money. What would be the purpose of it? So you have to get the support. YouTube knew that. That's why they created African Super Chat and the Patreon. But here in Africa with me, I can't do that. You see, so this is the way we do it. Let's push out and help make this a reality. Because it's not a reality yet. Because some of you guys are still saying, "I don't get the thing for free." You see, then next thing you know, you're like, "Why the brother hasn't been on the show made a show in the last 6 weeks?" It's because I'm busy, and I feel like the information is not of value to you. So thank you for those people that are saying, those people that are sending out. Chats, and yeah, that's great. And I'm gonna end this video now, and then the next one we're gonna do is on educating your children, how to educate your children in Kenya. I'm gonna give you all the details. I'm gonna list some schools, get the price differences between the different schools, so you can see that you got a child that may be in public school and might spend a small amount of money, but for that same small amount of money, when you bring them to Africa, they might be in they can be put in a high prep school. And when they're in a high prep school, they're going to have high prep friends. And those friends that they have in school, they can carry those relationships on when they get out of school into business and into jobs. And because we're from your child's a Black American, there'll be a novelty in the school that they're in. And if you can get them conscious of the fact, I'm telling you, they won't want to come back to America. Why? There would be no reason. Because you don't get racism. You don't have you don't see you don't feel like a minority. And this is the major point. So thank you guys for coming in. Let's meet the next time. Remember, take the time. Let's see if this thing has really worked. If you don't make it now, when I come on the next show, I'll be able to address and put a shout out to you on the next show. So until the next show, peace.